So our last speaker is Shady Sedhom from Roche, who's joining us virtually. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it in person, and he's going to be giving us an update on the phase 1/2 study looking at Alogabat and Angelman syndrome.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Great. Thank you very much, Alison. It's really unfortunate that I was not able to be with the community this year. I used to come every year in the last 5 years, so I really miss you all. And thank you for inviting me to share updates about the Angelman syndrome study, Aldebaran study. So as you all know, that next slide, please. So this is me, Shady Sedhom, patient partnership leader in Roche. Next slide, please. And this is my disclaimer for today. Alogabat is an investigational therapy, and the information which I'm sharing with you today is for scientific exchange and not for promotional purposes. Next slide, please. So as you all know, that lack of UBE3A expressed from chromosome 15q causes Angelman syndrome. And shown here in the right is a graphical representation of the genes on chromosome 15q for typical individuals in comparison to deletion patient and mutation patients. You can see from this that deletion Angelman syndrome has more than 10 additional genes deleted in addition to the UBE3A. And that, of course, has an effect. And this presented in the natural history study data in Angelman syndrome. And it is clear that deletion Angelman syndrome patients are presented with more impaired clinical phenotype. If you look at the bottom right, the graph here, we can see this like more clearly from the Bailey's data measuring cognition. You can see that deletion Angelman syndrome patient has more severely impacted cognition. And in addition to the clinical severity observed in deletion Angelman syndrome patient, they also present clinically with a consistent decrease in the EEG beta band power. And that's, of course, in addition to the delta band increase seen in all Angelman syndrome patients. And why is that? If we look at the deleted genes, we see that it includes the GABA genes, GABA B3, GABA A5, GABA Y3, and the product of these genes form what's called GABA alpha 5 subunit receptor. And this receptor is very important. It has been postulated that these 3 deleted genes contribute to the more severe clinical presentation in deletion Angelman syndrome patient. And that restoring the GABA function could have a therapeutic benefit for the deletion Angelman syndrome patients. Next slide, please. Yeah, here you see on the right, schemically, the product of the 3 GABA gene I mentioned in the just previous slide. They form together what is called the GABA alpha 5 receptor. And the GABA alpha 5 binds to a neurotransmitter called GABA. GABA is one of the most important neurotransmitters or messengers in the brain. And neurotransmitters like GABA can only work when they bind to their specific receptor. So if there is any dysfunction around the neurotransmitter or its receptor, that can cause imbalance in the brain. And with the deleted GABA gene, we have less GABA alpha 5 receptor. So this could be of course, represented in the data and differentiate between deletion, Angelman patient, and mutation. Here comes the Alogabat, the investigation medicine, which we are investigating in the Aldebaran study. Alogabat is a GABA alpha 5 positive allosteric modulator. It binds to the GABA alpha 5 receptor and can enhance its function. Alogabat is an oral therapy, and it's once daily, and it's investigated as once daily medicine. And it has been before investigated in Angelman patients. It was investigated in healthy volunteers and also in phase 2 clinical trial in adult and adolescents with autism spectrum disorders. Alogabat has shown acceptable safety and tolerability profile to date. And currently, as I just mentioned, is investigated in a study called Aldebaran for deletion Angelman syndrome patients. Next slide, please. So Aldebaran study, which is a phase 2 study, what we would like to understand from this study. First, safety. And yes, it was investigated before in healthy volunteers and in autism spectrum patient, but it is also important to understand its safety on deletion Angelman patients, its safety and tolerability. Pharmacokinetics, and this means what does the body do to Alogabat and what is the dose required. As we just mentioned, the EEG, beta band, and the GABA, it is also important to investigate if Alogabat will enhance the GABA receptor and will have impact on the EEG, specifically the beta band power. And we also check some exploratory clinical effects. Next slide, please. So Aldebaran, which is an open label study, open label means no placebo, all the patients receive the investigational therapy. Alogabat is tested in children and adolescents. So far, 48 male and female individuals with deletion Angelman patients were recruited in the study, 5 to 17 years old. It's actually currently in 20 sites in 6 countries, and I'm super happy and proud to say that this study is fully enrolled. And I would like to use this opportunity to express our deep appreciation to the Angelman community. The efforts, the commitment to participate in clinical trials. We understand the significant dedication and the personal investment the families make, and we are incredibly grateful for the partnership with the families, with the patient organization, with FAST, with ASF, with ASA, and all the patient organizations across the globe. We thank you really a lot. Next slide, please. Next. Next, until all appears. So in conclusion, the Aldebaran study will enable us to explore the role of the deletion GABA genes in deletion Angelman syndrome, and whether restoring the GABA functioning with Alogabat could have a therapeutic benefit and help Angelman syndrome patients. This study is fully recruited, and we expect the trial to be completed by Q2, Q3 next next year, and we plan to share the results as soon as we get there. So stay tuned. We will share the results with you as soon as possible. Next slide. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Shady. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time for questions, but I do want to just acknowledge the fact that that was a hard study to enroll due to the fact that a lot of patients with deletion were also on benzodiazepines for seizure control, and that was one of the exclusion criteria at the forefront. So that was a hard study to enroll, and congratulations to the community for pushing through and getting it done. And I'd also like to say that I think the benefit of a drug like that could actually be profoundly different in the face of a gene replacement therapy or an ASO in which you're replacing both the GABA genes and UBE3A. So I'm very excited to see what combination therapy might look like, and hopefully companies are thinking about that.